Hey everybody, Jay Marino here, welcome back to the finale of the Metroid Prime Trilogy video series. I've had a really good time making this series. I just love these games. I think Prime 2 is easily my favorite. Prime 1 coming in at a healthy second. Prime 3, I've come to appreciate it more than I used to like it, I think. I think I like it more now here on this playthrough than I had in the past. Just come to appreciate it for what it is. I do really like the combat and some of the puzzles that the rooms present. I just like the whole trilogy. Could talk more about it during the credits, I suppose. So for now, we're going to Phaaze. Got a rendezvous with the Galactic Fleet. Galactic Federation Fleet. Let's do it. And there is no saving past this point, so we're just blasting straight to the end.
Samus's ship has joined the fleet.
Thank you, Ensign. Leviathan Command, you are cleared to fire the portal beam. Once the wormhole is open, order all ships to enter.
Affirmative, Admiral. Message to all ships. Prepare for entry. Maintain battle formation tightness.
Use those ship missiles for something, Samus. Come on. Due to critical levels of internal phase and corruption, the emergency vent override has been triggered by the PED suit. All acquired energy tanks have been vented to temporarily prevent total corruption. Hypermode weapons no longer require the extinguishing of an energy tank to use. You're now permanently in Hypermode. Unfortunately, this vent override can no longer be used. Damage, as well as exposure to Phaze's atmosphere, will continue to raise your phase and level. Your phase and level shown in the yellow bar at the top of the HUD. If your phase and level fills completely, you will die. So that's that. Got some mini roids here. Gunship no longer identifies you as Samus due to near total corruption. Access to ship is not permitted. So we can't even save. Massive tentacles grow from deep within the planet's surface. They appear semi-sentient. So we can break these. Not that we really need to, but we can. We want to scan the door. Gel sacks. Unique enemy here. Phaaze door. I'm gonna kill these from very far away. You don't want them exploding because they'll cover you in the goop. You don't want to get covered in the goop. So it's what you've always wanted, to be able to just stay in hyper mode and go crazy. Scan this guy right here. That's our last research entry of the black Phaaze crystals. Now there are pickups that are called anti-Phaaze. How convenient that these start spawning all over Phaaze, but sure. Now, using the hyper grapple is how we can actually vent ourselves. We just, like, basically pump our Phaaze energy into something else. Phaaze tendrils will tangle anything that gets too close, but can't grab smooth surfaces. Coming through. And we can use these to vent ourselves as well, because one way to kill them is to just pump them full of Phaaze. Pretty easy way, again, to keep that meter as low as possible. Well, I think that one I accidentally tore apart, but that's fine. That's acceptable. I do like how this whole little section here on Phaaze just kind of has you use all your hyper mode tools, not just, you know, same old, same old. What I do wish is, I wish there were more enemies that were vulnerable specifically to, like, Morph Ball hyper mode throughout the game. Like, it's nice that we have an opportunity to use it now, here at the end. But I would have appreciated more opportunities to use it. Alright, so this is Phaaze Puffer, which will suck up all of our Phaaze, which is good. But if you let it live, then it'll explode it all out in like a big blast. So obviously we want to avoid that. We also really don't want the Phaaze Metroids getting a hold of us. Scan these little things too. Or we can get grabbed by a Metroid. Glow stem. So for these sections, I do like to actually pop out of Morph Ball form to kill these enemies that drop down first, before anything else. There's that Tangleweed. They do spawn pretty much infinitely, though. Phaaze lightning discharges, sure. So we have to go around the room And this is where we're gonna build up a pretty large bar of Phaaze for sure. So the question is, you know, is it worth popping out to try to kill these things? Because they just respawn anyway. Okay, there is a Phaaze puffer thing in here, so we let it soak up as much as possible and then kill it. Yeah, those are definitely worth popping out to kill, I think. If they survive too long, you're going to have a big problem. Gonna regret that. Maw has been destroyed. Fleshy mass appears to be part of a much larger organism. So Metroids are going to spawn infinitely in here. Exposed membrane is a small section of a nest which contains hundreds of juvenile Metroids. That's because we have to mess around with this door here. Creature's optical organ is vulnerable to shots, but is being protected by thick plating. So we have to keep killing the Metroids. While breaking the door. Certainly like using missiles on these guys. Instant kill. And then the opportunity to vent as well is quite nice here. Look at this creepy thing. I guess we could scan it. It doesn't actually... It's nothing. It's not logbook worthy, but we'll scan it. Bioform species unknown. Mouth interior appears to be vulnerable. Damage it to loosen its grip. There we go. Anything on Phaaze that we haven't scanned yet? The pulsing spores of this fungus emit the scent of decay. No profile matches in databank. We're just dropping deeper and deeper and deeper into this place. So this is a little baby Leviathan. Serpentine organ serves as a Leviathan womb. Tissue on the sides can be torn off, so we have to try to scan the little guy. Leviathan infant. A Leviathan in early development. Phaaze within is highly unstable. So we just gotta shoot the crap out of this thing. Meanwhile, Metroids are gonna keep spawning on us. So I would rather focus on avoiding damage here rather than outputting damage on the infant. Ooh, that was close. He's back on the other side now, but that's fine. Now we have both sides torn open. This thing's got a good amount of HP. You just gotta stay on it and avoid getting hit by Metroids. Oh, okay. There we go. Bring it in. Dark Samus, Phaaze energy-based entity, disrupted by Hypermode attacks. Target is composed of pure Phaaze energy and is highly unstable. Scans indicate that Hypermode attacks are capable of disrupting her, likely results of Hypermode being energized by Samus's body. Dark Samus is capable of generating echoes of herself to aid her in battle. These units will be used as increased firepower and act as distractions while she replenishes her energy. They should be destroyed immediately. She is capable of absorbing energy from Phaaze to replenish her own. Alright. Also, nice little callback to Prime 2, saying that she creates echoes of herself. I like that. She does block our missiles, unfortunately. Alright, so now she's healing. We just gotta break her out of that quickly. So one of these is real and one of these is fake. It honestly doesn't even matter. Like, you're either doing real damage, which is always good, or you're gonna get rid of one of the fakes. You need to do both anyway, so. Right, so now she's healing, but you still have to break the real one out of the healing mode. I like how the music is the same as in Prime 2. Oh, we found the real one. The sooner we can break her out of that, the less she's going to heal, so that's positive. Got the real one again. Very lucky. Just going to stick on her rather than the clones. There we go. Aurora unit. Aurora unit 313. Hatch on its head protects core. Damage core to sever cables. So this is the Aurora unit that they stole from the Valhalla, and is very clearly supposed to be a reference to Mother Brain. Aurora 313 has somehow been fused with the bioessence of Dark Samus. While combat shields protect most of the unit, a weak spot has been detected at the cable junction. Damaging the unit's core will expose this point, but the core itself is protected by an armored hatch. Tentacle ports can be damaged to initiate stunning cerebral feedback pulses within the target. While incapacitated, the hatch will be unprotected and able to be pulled open. This unit has been heavily mutated by Phaaze exposure. It appears to be symbiotically connected to the planet Phaaze as well. Alright. Shoot the tentacles and then shoot the hatches. Spawns little Dark Samus clones that'll shoot at us. If you manage to hit one of those, it's hard to do, but if you can hit one, it like instantly stuns it. So we're gonna try to wildly shoot to get one every so often. Let's just unload on this thing. So at certain HP, it's going to close up anyway. It's just like at certain percentages. It ensures that the fight does last a certain amount of time. Instinctually try to go into hyper mode, even though I'm permanently in hyper mode. When in doubt, just boost ball away. Do it here too. I think she's spawning Dark Samus, not beaming. Sometimes the Dark Samus clones will go into Morph Ball mode, at which point they're surprisingly difficult to not take damage from. That was strange. It seemed like I definitely landed some hits there. I'm not sure why that didn't work. Okay. If you do manage to hit one of those little sensor drones that pops out, it's just almost, it's luck. There's no way you can anticipate it. Did it again. Try to hit the button to go into hyper mode. Alright, one more. actually know if you can destroy these or what. Doesn't look like it. I think you just have to roll away. If you let those tentacles stay out long enough, they'll start shooting things at you. That looked like I would have hit that. Alright, this is looking good. Get. So this is not a separate scan, but it's just kind of an update. Severed cable has exposed a weak point that is vulnerable to attack. Also, I should point out really quick, not to take us out of this or anything, but I do have all the boss scans and the Phaaze scans now, so we are at 100% logbook. We don't get a nice little fanfare for this game where it says 100% logbook, unfortunately. And that's only in the first 2 games. So I think the big thing for this one is you want to try to stay like directly underneath it where possible. It's very hard to avoid these little these beams that it shoots out if you're not right under it. And yeah, like, good luck not getting hit by this thing as it's spinning around. I think just spamming is probably more effective than using missiles. So if you let that sensor thing stay out long enough, it'll do a bunch of damage. It'll like trigger a damaging attack, but and I think the key in general is just like try to stay underneath it. Ooh. Oh wow, we hit it while it was spinning. I didn't even know you could stun it out of that.
We have confirmed unstable energy spikes in multiple locations on the planet. It's a chain reaction. It's accelerating. The planet's going to explode!
Order the fleet to disengage and prepare to retreat. Activate the Leviathan's warp field. Get us out of here!
Damage reports coming in. We've lost 37% of the fleet. Half of the surviving ships are reporting heavy casualties.
Sir, we've confirmed the wormhole has disappeared. All the Leviathans are gone. The crisis is over.
What about Samus?
Negative, sir. No contact.
Sir, we're receiving a transmission from Samus's ship.
So I believe that is the special ending you get for 75% item completion. And then we'll get another short one for the 100%. So we made it. We made it through the trilogy. Again, I just really like these games. And even though I realize that this is not going to be a very popular or highly viewed series on my channel, I started my YouTube channel so that I could share some of my favorite gaming experiences with people, and obviously I ended up moving into heavily on the RTS side of things because a lot of my favorite games were real-time strategy. But, again, like Metroid Prime, Outpost 2 Divided Destiny, that was kind of like a city builder / RTS. That's another one I'd put on my list of, like, Jay Barrino's greatest hits, right? Metroid Prime Trilogy, Outpost 2, StarCraft 2, and StarCraft Remastered. Those are probably the series that I take a lot of pride in the sense of, like, me doing my best to put on, like, a really good showing for some of the games that I enjoy the most. Whereas, I play custom campaigns for StarCraft and Warcraft, and I play through some more real-time strategy, and those are more like blind playthroughs, but games like this, again, that I have a history with, I really like to, for lack of a better term, manhandle. And hopefully that shined through here, through all three of these games. I'm definitely the strongest with the first Prime. I played it the longest time ago, and I've played it the most times, so I know it like the back of my hand. I had to brush up on Prime 2 and 3, but once I did, it all kind of just came back to me. But yeah, without a doubt, I'd say Prime 2 is my favorite. I think recording this series just reinforced that, for sure.
Samus Aran's arduous fight against Phaaze has ended. However, in the vast regions of space, this victory is just a twinkle of a star, spreading the light of hope through the darkness.
Alright, sure, soundtrack. That was kind of an odd little soliloquy for us, but sure. I like the music here at the end. It's quite nice. But yeah, the trilogy version, I feel like, just taking that motion control accessibility from Prime 3 and then retroactively adding it to Prime 1 and 2, I feel like it added so much. I really, really enjoyed it when I played it on Wii the first time, and this Prime Hack emulator is... I mean, the stuttering is... It can hurt sometimes, right? But honestly, like, being able to play this at a high frame rate and higher resolution, It's just a real treat, I gotta say. And I'm sure you probably need a pretty powerful CPU to run it, but I'd recommend it. Especially if you've purchased, specifically if you've purchased the game for the original console it was on, right? Then you can feel okay going ahead and downloading a copy of it. But yeah, to get back to what I was saying, specifically I'd say Prime 2, it took everything that Prime 1 did well and made it better, in my opinion. I think the only aspect of Prime 2 that I didn't really care for were the missile combos. And I think all they needed to do was make it so that the missile combos homed, and it would have been fine, because it was a high cost for the ammo and then also the missiles. They could have homed. It would have been fine. But other than that, I think Prime 2, it gave you a mechanic where your health was actually important, and it gave you a mechanic where your missiles were important, and ammunition for the 2 beams. So making the player actually care about this collection. So yeah, I want to collect all the items. By the end of Prime 1 and Prime 3, you're so powerful that nothing could possibly stop you. Whereas Prime 2 actually, I think, challenged you in those ways and did a pretty good job at that. To make you actually care about the resources. And I also feel like the world interconnectedness, both within the zones and the zones between each other, was the best in Prime 2. That's just my opinion, man. But I don't want to forget that Prime 1 hugely innovated on 3D space and how you could build 3D spaces for games. Back when it was released, I think it was absolutely groundbreaking in that way. And Dark Souls is one of my favorite games, and I think a lot of the interconnectedness that people love, you could see that in Prime 1, which was many, many, many years before. I have no idea who that's supposed to be. I still don't know. I could look it up, but I still don't know. Probably just a rival bounty hunter or something. But that was our 100% ending. 100% completion, 5.5 hours. That's pretty good. That puts us kind of in line with Prime 2 in a way. But I mean, there's an extra video here, and imagine that 40 minutes of extra time was traveling on the ship. But yeah, I've come to appreciate Prime 3 a lot more as well. I think when I played it originally, I was like, I just don't really like this. But, now that I've kind of routed my way through it and see how you can get a pretty clean route through the game, I think it's quite good. And what it did, the strides that it made with the combat, I'm pretty happy with as well. Well, hey, that's the end of this series. I hope, if you're one of the fewer people that watched this series and enjoyed it, I'm really happy to see that. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on series like this one. I'm sure there are other games I could dig up from the Jaberino catalog where we could make a similar series. But I also want to close this out by giving a huge thanks to Azure Guy. He's a channel member, but also he was the one that shared Prime Hack with me originally. So I really appreciate that, because that's what kind of kicked me off. And I've been playing through these games. I streamed them, and then I made a YouTube series for them. I've just been having a blast. So thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And again, I hope you like this series. Leave your feedback below. Or don't. Just let me know if you liked it or not. I'd appreciate that. All right, I'll see everyone next time. Bye-bye.